It was the first time that I realized that I would continue doing something even if no one was watching. Everyone is cringe until it works. And yes, I know this is a little dramatic. Doctor, lawyer, and engineer. If you aren't one of those, then you're basically a failure. What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about how YouTube completely changed my life with just 1,000 subscribers. Let's get into it. So the first way that YouTube changed my life comes with a little bit of a backstory. So back in 2020, after I graduated college, I briefly worked at a pharmaceutical company, and the job was remote, it was easy, and it was decently paid. But the entire time I was working that job, I just always felt like something was off. I just knew that deep down, like, I wanted more out of life, and that corporate 9 to 5 wasn't necessarily what I saw myself doing long term. And keep in mind that in college, I was pre-med. So I was planning on going to medical school, and like my entire life, I had said I wanted to become a doctor. But I just knew as I was pursuing that path that my heart wasn't really in it. And it was hard for me to see myself spending 8-10 years on that schooling path. So while I was working at the pharmaceutical company, I was looking at different opportunities that I could possibly go into. And I was faced with two very different paths. One was going into Capital One's business development program, and then another was applying to get my master's of science in anesthesia and becoming an anesthesiologist assistant. And ultimately, I decided to go to anesthesia school, and my reasoning behind that was interesting. Partly was because I wanted to have a good and rewarding job where I got to work directly with patients and have a direct impact on people's lives. But then I also wanted a job where I could leave work at work and not be consumed with climbing some type of imaginary corporate ladder. And looking back, this was largely because deep down, I knew that I always wanted to build something of my own. So I wanted a job that would give me the opportunity to be able to do that. And after I graduated anesthesia school, I was so excited to start building something. And that led me to pursue so many different opportunities, so many business opportunities and creative ventures. And they all failed. Every single one of them failed. And it's not because they were bad ideas, it's just because I didn't have any real passion for them. So I would start all these different things and I would give up after like a week or two. And it came to a point where I just started to feel very helpless and a little hopeless. And it wasn't until I started making YouTube videos that I finally found something that I felt that I could stick with because I actually enjoyed the process. It was the first time that I realized that I would continue doing something even if no one was watching, even if I got no views. It was something that I knew that I wanted to do. That's a good indication to me that I'm doing something that's worthwhile. And in reflecting as to why YouTube was what worked for me and what I was able to stick with, I found an interesting framework by Navy SEAL John Allen. It's called the 3-box decision framework. And the essence of this framework is that if a certain opportunity checks these 3 specific boxes, then it's probably something that's worth pursuing for you. And this framework has completely changed how I evaluate potential opportunities, and also makes sense why it was easier for me to stick with YouTube. So the first box that should be checked is challenge. So the opportunity should be challenging enough, difficult enough to where once you achieve it, you'll be proud of your accomplishment. And this makes sense because a lot of people have aspirations to pursue higher education, graduate college. And why we celebrate is because we know that it's a difficult thing to accomplish. So the second box that should be checked is recognition. So this means that there's some value attached to the achievement of whatever goal that you set for yourself. And this makes sense in relation to the graduating example. This is why everyone wants to get grad pictures and everyone wants to show off their degree and everyone gets it framed. It's because there's a certain element of recognition that makes us feel good about accomplishing a certain goal. And the last box that should be checked off is enjoyment. And this is basically just that you should derive personal satisfaction from the process itself. And that's what makes anything easy to stick with. And when I applied this framework to my life, it just made complete sense why I was drawn to YouTube. One, it's very challenging to make YouTube videos, to be able to come up with new ideas, and being able to articulate your ideas on camera has been a skill that I've had to learn. And then also just learning everything that goes into making a YouTube video has been very challenging as well. And then also the recognition of being able to help people along their fitness journey and being able to teach people what took me years to learn, being able to help people with that process has been really satisfying for me. It brought me a lot of personal joy. And then finally, I just enjoy the process. I love being able to express myself creatively because my job is one that isn't very creative, and it makes sense because you don't want creativity in medicine. So being able to have this as an outlet where I can be creative and share that part of myself has brought me a lot of personal joy. All right, guys, that's enough yapping for now. Gonna make some breakfast and then get ready to start going to the gym. It's the first day of the new year, so you know we gotta get it in. Gonna be heading to DMV Iron to start the year off with a pool day. Ended the year with leg day, so we're gonna start the year with a pool day. All right, guys, this is breakfast for today. Kind of overcooked the eggs, but it's all good. Just got some eggs, got some steak, got some avocado, some chill. Chef's kiss. So good. Okay, guys, on the way to the gym, about to get in the first workout of the new year. But on the way, we're gonna get into the second point, which is that making YouTube videos helped me stop caring what other people think. I will say one thing I'm looking forward to or hoping for this year is for a new car, man. Like, I don't know if it's gonna happen or how it's gonna happen, but I would hope to get one. So yeah, y'all see the car, man. This thing needs to be upgraded, bro. I've been driving this car for 10 years. She's got me through a lot, so I'm definitely grateful, but this might be the year. We'll see. So the second way that starting this YouTube channel has changed my life is that I've just stopped caring what people think. And believe it or not, I used to be embarrassed to be into self-improvement because I thought that everyone else already had it figured out and that I was the one trying to play catch up. And I remember not being very open with the fact that I was very into self-improvement, and I thought that it was something that I was supposed to hide. And I guess part of it was just me wanting to portray an image of already having everything figured out, like I assumed everyone else did. But over time, of course, as I gained more experience and just started to like live life and talk to people, I realized that everyone doesn't have everything figured out, and like everyone is still trying to become that best version of themselves. So self-improvement isn't something to be ashamed of. And in fact, opening up about my interest in self-improvement and the different ways that I want to develop in my life has opened a lot of opportunities for me and has led to deeper connections with people. And I also remember just being so afraid of being seen as cringe, and that stopped me from making videos for a long time. But what I had to realize is that everyone is cringe until it works. And I realized like to be cringe is to be free, because you're putting yourself out there authentically, putting your thoughts, your ideas, your personality into the world, and you're being yourself in an authentic way, even if other people don't get it. And for me, YouTube really just became a way for me to express parts of myself that I normally wouldn't share with everyone, because by default, I'm a pretty reserved person in public, and this is like giving me a platform for me to share my thoughts and ideas and connect with like-minded people. And fitness has always been a big passion of mine, and like, keep in mind, I got a degree in kinesiology, so I studied exercise science, nutrition, exercise physiology, and I have all this information and knowledge that I want to share, but I struggled to find a way to share it in a way that I also enjoyed, because I knew that I didn't want to go into a career necessarily as a personal trainer or anything related to sports, so I didn't really have an outlet to share all this information. So YouTube in a big way has become my creative and knowledge outlet so I can share my passion for fitness and also be able to help others and give people the information, the knowledge, the mindset, the workouts, the frameworks that helped me to remain consistent in the gym for so long and to get progress. And one of the biggest lessons that I've learned is that you don't need a list of clients or a big fancy resume to start sharing your knowledge. You are the testimonial. If you've accomplished anything that other people are striving for, your personal experience, knowledge, frameworks, everything that you've gathered to become the person that you are today and achieve that goal is proof that you have the experience needed to help others also achieve that goal. So don't allow fear or the belief of inexperience stop you from sharing your knowledge, because you never know who you could help. All right, guys, just finished that workout. Gonna head into Whole Foods right now and pick up some food. I'm trying to start cooking a lot more this year, cooking at home, trying to stay away from buying food out all the time. So yeah, let's get into Whole Foods and pick up this food. Okay guys, so the third way that starting a YouTube channel has changed my life is that I finally started to play the game that I decided to play. And there's a quote that I want to read, kind of a long quote that I think sums this point up very nicely. And the quote is by Darren Coe. If you guys don't know him, you guys should check him out. The quote goes, "Since the day they were born, they've been assigned goals and have error corrected to fit the mold their parents wanted them to fit in. Go to school, get a job, retire at 65. Entrepreneurship? Yeah, right. Save your money, get good grades, and listen to authority. Take the safe route. Stay subservient to the dominant system. And before you know it, your mind will scratch and claw its way back to life that it was sold to be comfortable. You may have the occasional desires to change, the depths of your soul crying out for you to break free. But the code in your head is so powerful that it quickly squashes that feature, mistaken for a bug." And yes, I know this is a little dramatic, but for a long time, I really did feel stuck in that mold. And I was following like a bunch of different paths that didn't necessarily feel right for me. And the truth is that we are all shaped by ideas and beliefs on how the world works. And most of them come from our family, friends, and society. And everyone and everything is trying to steer us towards a specific goal that isn't necessarily always our own. For example, I'm Nigerian, and in Nigerian culture, it's a running joke that there are only 3 careers: doctor, lawyer, and engineer. If you aren't one of those, then you're basically a failure. And for the longest time, I really took this to heart. And I think that's why for so long I wanted to be a doctor, even though my heart wasn't necessarily in it. The issue isn't necessarily these careers, because these careers are important and the intention behind it is usually from a good place, because every parent wants their kids to do well in life. But the issue is that most people never really stop to think and question the motive and try to figure out if it's actually something that's authentic to who they are and who they want to be. Starting a YouTube channel was my way of breaking free, and it was my way of playing the game that I always wanted to play, which was sharing knowledge and creativity. And for the longest time, like, I was sitting on the sidelines just watching other people do what I wanted to do and kind of envying them because they were bold enough to do what I was able to do. And through this process, I've ended up connecting with people on a deeper level than I believe I ever really could have ever done if I had followed the traditional path that society pushes on us. And if you're unsure about your own path, just take the time to ask yourself, if I wasn't already doing this, would I start doing it today? This question just forces you to be honest with yourself and figure out if what you're doing is actually what you're passionate about and what you desire to be doing, or if it's just the status quo and you just wanting to fit into the mold that society has determined is correct. And I'm so glad that I asked myself these questions along the path that I was on, because it allowed me to make a lot of authentic choices that were true to who I was and what I wanted out of life. And YouTube has helped me find even more fulfillment in a way that I never really expected. I know that the channel's still small, like I'm not even monetized yet, and like haven't really been in the game that long, but in just a short amount of time that I've been doing this, like I see why people do it for so long. It's hard to describe, but it's just that feeling when you found something that you really enjoy doing and that you're passionate about. Like, it's just a good feeling. Okay guys, that's it for today's video. If you made it this far, as always, I do really appreciate you. This is the first day of the year 2025, and I'm happy to be starting it off hot. But yeah guys, let's get after it this year. Like, nothing's gonna come to us easy. Remember, time waits for no man. But if you made it this far, like I said, I appreciate you. We're on our way to 10,000 subscribers in the year 2025. We hit 1K, so I know we can hit 10K, and I'm excited for the process. All right, guys, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.